It was one of those evenings where the air felt charged with possibility, the kind where you end up in unexpected conversations that stick with you for years. I was at a local coffee shop, one of those trendy spots with exposed brick walls, overpriced lattes, and a mix of hipsters and professionals tapping away on laptops. The place was buzzing with low chatter, the clink of ceramic mugs, and the occasional hiss of the espresso machine. I'd been chatting with a few friends when this woman joined the conversation. Let's call her Sarah, not her real name, but it fits the vibe. Sarah was a force of nature, the kind of person who commands attention without even trying. She was a self-proclaimed feminist, a social justice warrior through and through, and she wore her beliefs like a badge of honor. You could tell she'd spent hours online, curating her worldview from X posts, think pieces, and viral TE talks. She had this intensity about her, sharp eyes, quick gestures, and a way of speaking that made you feel like you were either with her or against her. Her outfit was a mix of bold statement pieces, a t-shirt with some empowering slogan, layered necklaces, and a bright scarf that screamed, "I'm here, and I have opinions." We started off talking about nothing serious, movies, maybe, or the latest local drama. It was light, easy, the kind of banter you fall into when you're just passing time with a group. But, as conversations often do, it took a turn. Somehow, we veered into the territory of relationships and dating, that murky swamp where everyone's got a story and an opinion. Sarah, sitting across from me with her chai latte in hand, got this spark in her eye, like she'd been waiting for the topic to come up. Out of nowhere, she dropped a bombshell. "I'm single, and I'm fine with it." Her tone was defiant, almost daring anyone to challenge her. Now, I'm not one to let a statement like that just hang in the air. I leaned forward, genuinely curious, and asked, "Why are you single? What's the deal?" It wasn't meant to be confrontational, just an honest question. I mean, here was this confident, outspoken woman, clearly passionate about her ideals, and yet she was unattached. I wanted to know the story behind it. Little did I know, that simple question was about to unleash a tidal wave of a response that would leave me questioning a lot about modern dating and the expectations we all carry. Her response hit me like a freight train. There are no good men left in the world. She didn't stop there. She launched into this full-blown monologue, one I'm sure many of you have heard before. It was a tirade about how men are trash, how they offer nothing to her, how they don't love her the way she's supposed to be loved. She rattled off a laundry list of qualities she expects in a man. Trust me, this list was exhaustive. Tall, handsome, financially secure, emotionally intelligent, ambitious, supportive, romantic, funny, and on and on. I was getting tired just listening to her rant. So I decided to flip the script. I looked at her and asked, "Okay, let's reverse that. What do you have to offer a man?" The room went silent. Her eyes widened, and she almost recoiled, like I'd just insulted her entire existence. It was as if she'd never even considered the question before, like no one had ever dared to ask her that. She stammered, clearly caught off guard, and didn't have a solid answer. This moment stuck with me because it's not just about this one woman. She's one of many who seem to think this way. They spend their days fantasizing about their perfect Disney prince, holding men to these sky-high, unrealistic standards without ever pausing to reflect on what they bring to the table. And that, my friends, is a big part of what's going wrong in modern dating dynamics. Let's break it down. Women today often have these mile-long lists of expectations, physical attributes, personality traits, financial status, you name it. But how often do they stop to ask themselves, what am I offering in return for all this effort from a guy? Back in the day, relationships had a different dynamic. Women often took care of the home, cooked meals, and created a nurturing environment. That was their contribution to the partnership, balancing the man's role as a provider. Surveys, like one from Pew Research in 2020, show that even today, many career-driven women still express a desire for a life where they can focus on family and home, suggesting there's a lingering appeal to those traditional roles. So what's changed? Back then, both sides had something tangible to offer. Men worked hard, often in grueling jobs, to provide financially. In return, women created a warm, supportive home environment. It wasn't perfect, but it was a mutual exchange. Fast forward to now, and many men feel like they're expected to do all the heavy lifting, emotionally, financially, romantically, while getting little in return. A 2023 YouGov poll found that 71% of men in the U.S. say they'd love a partner who shows appreciation for their efforts, whether through cooking, emotional support, or just genuine gratitude. Men aren't robots. We're human too. A kind word, a home-cooked meal, or a simple thank you can go a long way. But in today's world, those gestures feel increasingly rare. So how did we get here? It's a story that didn't happen overnight. It's been a gradual shift, fueled by a mix of cultural, social, and economic changes. Let's start with feminism. The early waves of feminism were crucial. They fought for women's right to vote, own property, and have equal opportunities. The Red Pill community, despite its reputation, doesn't dispute the importance of those early movements. They elevated women's status and gave them agency, which was undeniably a good thing. But somewhere along the line, things took a turn. Third-wave feminism, starting in the 1990s, began to shift the narrative. It moved away from equality and toward vilifying men as the root of all societal problems. The concept of the patriarchy became a catch-all boogeyman, painting men as inherently oppressive. This shift had consequences. Men, as a group, started being demonized in media, academia, and pop culture. Think about it. How often do you see men portrayed as bumbling idiots in TV shows or commercials, while women are shown as strong, independent, and flawless? This narrative seeped into society's psyche. Women were told they could have it all: a high-flying career, a perfect relationship, a glamorous lifestyle, without ever needing to compromise. Meanwhile, men were left feeling like they're constantly failing to meet impossible standards. Here's where it gets messy. Women have always had a societal advantage when it comes to empathy. Historically, society has been less likely to criticize or punish women harshly, even when they push boundaries. This dynamic gave modern feminism a unique power to reshape norms without much pushback. Over time, policies like affirmative action, gender quotas in hiring, and corporate campaigns celebrating female empowerment became mainstream. International Women's Day is a global event, with brands tripping over themselves to release feel-good ads. But International Men's Day, it barely registers a blip. A 2024 study by the American Psychological Association noted that men feel increasingly marginalized in a culture that prioritizes female empowerment while dismissing male struggles. This imbalance has created a sense of entitlement among some women. Not all, but enough to notice. They'd been sold a dream by corporations, media, and influencers. You're a queen, you deserve everything, and you don't owe anyone anything. The beauty industry, worth over $500 billion globally in 2025, thrives on this, selling women the idea that the right makeup or dress will make them irresistible. The wedding industry, valued at $300 billion, pushes the fantasy of a perfect Instagram-worthy wedding. Actresses and influencers parade across screens, showcasing curated lives that make women feel like they're entitled to a fairy tale romance with a flawless man. But reality doesn't work like that. The average guy isn't a 6-foot-tall Adonis with a six-figure salary and a team of stylists. He's a regular dude, maybe working a 9-to-5, dealing with stress, bills, and his own insecurities. He might take a woman out because he genuinely likes her, not because he's trying to live up to a Hollywood script. And when he's expected to worship her without any reciprocity, it breeds resentment. Worse, when he's met with rudeness or entitlement, he's not going to stick around. A 2024 post by a relationship coach went viral for pointing out that modern dating fails because too many people expect a movie star romance but offer fast food effort. The irony: women are being played by the very systems claiming to empower them. Corporations aren't pushing girl power out of altruism. They're selling products. Every ad, every influencer post, every movie is designed to tap into women's desires, inflating their egos while emptying their wallets. And when these women realize the real world doesn't bow to their expectations, when men don't treat them like royalty just for existing, they crash hard. They've been sold a lie, and it's left them unprepared for the give and take of real relationships. Now, let's be fair. Men aren't perfect either. Some guys are lazy, selfish, or emotionally unavailable. The red pill community, which you mentioned, often points out men's need to step up, take responsibility, and improve themselves. But the difference is, men are constantly told they're not enough, by society, by dating apps, by the women they meet. Women, on the other hand, are rarely challenged to self-reflect. When they are, like my question to that woman, they're shocked. It's like they've built these impenetrable bunkers of entitlement, and any attempt to point it out is labeled toxic masculinity. So, what's the solution? It's not about going back to the 1950s. Nobody's saying women should be chained to the kitchen. It's about mutual respect and accountability. Relationships thrive when both sides bring something to the table. Men want to feel valued, just like women do. A 2022 survey by Match.com found that 68% of men prioritize a partner who shows emotional support and appreciation over physical attractiveness. A kind gesture, a shared responsibility, or even just a genuine conversation can make all the difference. The woman I talked to, she never did answer my question. Maybe she didn't know how, or maybe she just didn't want to. But that moment was a wake-up call for me. It showed me how deep this disconnect runs. Dating today feels like a battlefield, with men and women shelling each other from opposite sides, neither willing to lower their defenses. It's a tough spot to be in, and honestly, it can feel pretty hopeless sometimes. That's my story for today, folks. A moment that opened my eyes to the wild, messy reality of modern dating. It's one of those encounters that sticks with you, like a song you can't stop humming, because it reveals something deeper about the world we're navigating. If this story hit home for you, if you've ever found yourself caught in a similar conversation, or felt the weight of these unbalanced expectations, do me a favor and smash that like button. It's not just about the algorithm, though yeah, that helps. It's about letting me know you're out there, nodding along, maybe even shaking your head at how real this all feels. I can't stop thinking about that coffee shop moment with Sarah, how her stunned silence spoke louder than her entire monologue. It made me realize how many of us, men and women alike, are caught in this cycle of wanting more but giving less. We're all human, right? We all want to feel valued, appreciated, like our efforts mean something. But somewhere along the way, the wires got crossed. Social media, movies, those glossy ads with perfect couples. They've sold us a script that doesn't match reality. I remember scrolling through X a while back, seeing posts from guys venting about being ghosted after bending over backwards, and women complaining about low-effort dates when the guy was just trying to keep it real. It's like we're all playing a game with different rulebooks. This isn't just about pointing fingers, though. I've been on the other side, too. I've had moments where I didn't show up as my best self, where I didn't bring enough to the table either. Maybe I was too focused on my own struggles, or maybe I bought into the idea that relationships should just work without effort. But that's the lie we've all been fed. That love should be effortless, that the perfect partner will just show up and check every box. Real life, it's messy. It's compromise. It's two people saying, "Hey, I'm not perfect, but I'm here, and I'm trying." A 2024 study from the Gottman Institute found that couples who practice small, consistent acts of appreciation, like a thank you note or a shared chore, are 40% more likely to stay together. That's not rocket science. It's just human nature. So here's my challenge to you. Let's keep this conversation going. Have you seen this dynamic play out in your own life? Maybe you've met someone with a mile-long list of expectations, or maybe you've caught yourself holding others to a standard you haven't questioned. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit me up on X, or share your own story. I want to hear it. Whether you're a guy feeling like you're dodging shells in the dating battlefield, or a woman who's tired of the pressure to be a queen while juggling a million responsibilities. We're all in this together, trying to figure out how to connect in a world that's screaming at us to stay divided. And let's not stop at venting. What can we do about it? Maybe it's time to start small, compliment someone's effort, cook a meal for your partner, or just listen without judgment. Maybe it's about looking in the mirror and asking, what am I bringing to the table? I'm not saying we need to turn back the clock to some idealized past. Nobody's dreaming of a 1950s sitcom life, but we can rebuild a culture of mutual respect, where both sides feel seen and valued. That's the kind of world I want to date in, and I bet you do too. Before I sign off, let me leave you with one last thought. A buddy of mine, after a rough breakup, told me something that stuck. The best relationships aren't about finding someone perfect. They're about finding someone who's willing to grow with you. That's the truth we're missing in all the noise. So, go out there, be real, be kind, and don't be afraid to have the tough conversations, like the one I had with Sarah. They might just change how you see the world. Thanks for sticking with me through this one. If you're feeling it, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And let's keep the vibes going. I'm curious, what's your story? What's the wildest dating moment you've had that made you rethink everything? Drop it below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, take care, stay real, and keep showing up for the people who matter.